So we'll just get right into it.
Paint the picture.
Tama
I have
Tonga
a pretty good
debuted
idea.
on Friday. If you
I've got a
didn't,
good idea of what's
yeah,
happening.
if you missed it, a new member of the Bloodline and a new chapter of the Bloodline story has.
I would say a new book. I would say we're on to the
Yeah,
sequel.
yeah, we honestly we are
I
on to
think
the
it's a
sequel.
new
This is a
book.
new.
We're a
It's a
book
new.
2 right now.
Yeah, honestly, dude, honestly, someone should write like the Bloodline, the novel, like, and just like try to write. I might
Well,
try. Could I
we
get the
actually
rights
talked
to that?
about we actually talked about doing it as like a video series of like
Yeah,
doing the Bloodline story. It would just take so long to do.
yeah.
Like if we were able to do this full time, then I would definitely do that. But like it would be sick to like do something like that.
I mean, maybe we should just do it in like a video series. Like, who
Yeah, but
cares how
like
long it
even that
takes? Like,
it
we'll
would take
finish eventually.
yeah.
You know what I
Maybe we'll
mean?
try
Like, we'll
it.
just do it just to do it. And then it's
That would
like
be
by the
sick.
time we're like get to like Cody finishing the story, like this story will maybe be done. Who knows? Like, but essentially, so in case you missed it, small review. Solo said Jimmy needed consequences essentially for losing at WrestleMania. Um and then he walked up to him and he said, "You're my brother. I love you." Gave him a hug. He was like, "I love you too, man." Like, Jimmy's
great.
he was like, "What you doing, man? What do you do?" He was like, "Ah, all right. I love you too, man. Look." And then we get Tama Tonga, son of Haku, debuting. Tama Tonga, if you're unfamiliar, has been wreaking havoc over in Japan for the last probably close to a decade at this point. Original member of Bullet Club. So not only does this man have ties to the Bloodline, he also has ties to AJ Styles and to Finn Balor and to the Good Brothers, and even Cody. I believe him and Cody were in Bullet Club together. He was in Bullet Club until was he in
For
Bullet
a
Club this entire
while.
time?
I think
Like,
so.
yeah, like he might have like I don't know, but
Also,
he
let
was
us know in the comments if you guys
yeah,
know.
I know that he was he was one of the stable members like throughout the years.
Yeah, and he's
He
been a
was there
staple piece for New Japan for a while
Oh,
as
totally.
well.
And he's been like he's been through with New Bullet Club through multiple different leaders, and um, so. But with that being said, we get the debut of Tama Tonga. There was rumors that he had been signed, and I think, and then we had got recent news of the Jacob Fatu signing. So I think the Tama Tonga signing almost kind of slipped everyone's minds because the Jacob Fatu signing had just hit the news. But then we get the Tama Tonga debut, which makes you think that the Jacob Fatu debut can't be far behind. So
I think it is but I think it's kind of just the way they're going to like tell the story, if that makes sense.
yeah, like it might be a little bit, but it's not going to be like might be a couple months.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but it's not going to be like super long. And honestly, they probably just want to. I'm assuming, and honestly, I'm assuming part of it, like they probably had this story in mind, but they're also like, you have to get trained to wrestle on WWE television. Like it is a lot different. Like it's not like you have to get trained, but you have to get trained on that style.
Yeah.
So then you have Solo and Tama Tonga really just wreaking havoc on Jimmy, and Paul Heyman. Sitting there, and obviously a genuine reaction of Paul Heyman. No idea what's going on. Paul Heyman is not in on this, and you can 100% tell that he's not in on this. Specifically when he goes, "Call Roman Reigns," and then Solo grabs the phone, throws it, stomps it, smashes it.
Is he wearing shoes?
He was.
Okay.
Thank God, honestly, for that.
I kind of wish he wasn't.
Dude, that would have been insane.
That would have been, yeah, but that would have been cooler.
If you're like, he doesn't even have shoes on.
He just stomped his phone down his barefoot.
If he just was like, it would have been cooler if he took it and just snapped it in half and gave it back to him or something. Anyway. So later we have Jimmy is in the medical thing, the medical room or whatever, and Paul Heyman comes out, and Kathy Kelly, I believe it was, goes up to Heyman and says, "Paul, is Jimmy okay?" And he just looks at her and goes, "No." And then and then Tama Tonga, and then Tom, did you see that clip?
I did.
Yeah, he was like, "No." Tama Tonga walks up and he goes, "Per orders of the tribal chief." And then Solo comes and goes. So first, let me give this. Solo probably has the most personality. Let me chill. Solo has a lot of personality. Like when he was in NXT, like this man could go like on the mic, bro. Like this man can go on the mic. Like this man has a lot more than what we've just seen on the reason I was gonna say he might have the most personality out of the three Usos is just because like he's the one who's done the most solo work. Like honestly, but like we've now had Jimmy like
no pun intended.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. But yeah, so and I love how we're getting this. You don't really know who this new tribal chief is. It's like, yeah, it could be Solo, but might be The Rock calling shots from the outside. Maybe it's Rikishi. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, Rikishi quoted, I don't know if you saw this on Twitter. I don't think it means nothing. But, like,
everything means something.
Yeah, they, like, posted the picture of, like, Solo and Tama, like, over Jimmy. And then, like, Rikishi quoted it and said, like, "Believe that," with, like, a 1 and, like, a blood drip. People are like, "Bro, that's your son. They just fucking destroyed your eldest boy. Like, what the hell?" But so maybe it's Rikishi calling the shots. You know what I mean? I think the best bet with it, I think everyone's probably The Rock. I think it's The Rock probably calling shots from behind the scenes. What do you think?
I think it's I maybe I'm just like I think it's like I'm being too simplistic. I kind of just thought it was always Solo.
Nah, there's more to it, bro.
But I'd say it's Solo because Roman said he's the next tribal chief. He's the heir to the throne.
Yeah, but
Roman ain't the tribal chief no more, so then it's Solo.
So you think The Rock's going to come back and be like, Solo is the tribal chief?
Yeah. The Rock may not even be involved anymore.
What do you mean? He just said his story with Cody is not finished.
Yeah, but I mean, like with him and Cody, like I don't know how much he's going to be involved. Like he may get a little bit involved with the Bloodline. I don't think he's going to be a major factor.
Bro, you literally just said this is all going to lead to The Rock versus Roman next year at WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't say he's not going to play a major factor in the story.
No, see, what I think... All right, let me explain my process.
Okay. I think I'm just confused.
I think I'm confused, too. I think what's going to happen is Solo is potentially trying, or is maybe currently the new head of the table. Because I think... this is going to lead to, like, Solo, Tama Tonga, and Fatu versus Roman and the Usos. That kind of feels like the direction that we're heading at. So, I think I'll take back my previous statement, because I do think we're getting The Rock versus Roman at 41. But I'm also not sure, like, how much, like, unless they add members down the line, I'm just trying to, like, I'm not fully certain, like, what The Rock's role is going to be in all of this.
I mean, you got to think. We'll see. I think the thing is that he's calling the shots from the outside. Or, like you said, it could be essentially him giving like Solo the blessing as the new tribal chief. Essentially, like The Rock put Solo in charge. But I think it's a thing is where like The Rock is either in charge or he directly puts Solo in charge. Because Who knows? I think there's a decent chance we get a War Games match of
Oh,
Roman,
don't tease me.
the Usos, and Cody versus The Rock, Solo, Tama, and Jacob.
Interesting.
I'm just saying that because I'm just trying to think of who the fourth person would be, and I'm like, if they're still involving Cody with The Rock, maybe that's how they do it at that point.
That would make sense.
Or Rikishi. What?
Wrestling?
Fuck? I don't know. Probably not. Yeah, I just realized that. Who?
I think we
Lance.
Who are we forgetting?
I just said him.
Nah,
Zilla.
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 Woo! Zilla. Let's go, Zilla. I don't know how, but he's involved in this somehow.
Or maybe we get Solo. Or Solo. Or maybe Solo, like.
Solo, Zilla, Jacob, Tama Tonga, Roman, the Usos, and Lance on Hawaii.
I almost feel like it makes more sense to have Solo end up rejoining his brothers and then have them and Roman. No, and then have them and Roman versus Zilla, Jacob, Lance, and Tama.
I feel like, oh, yes. You know what it could be?
What?
The Bloodline versus Samoan SWAT.
It could be that. Could
Now
get
we're
maybe
dancing.
Juicy Finau.
Juicy Finau.
I
I like that idea. I think this somehow leads to
War Games, right?
War Games.
It has to.
And it's going down. And it's going to be the craziest thing ever.
All right, if my money's on anything, I truly think the most likely would be The Rock, Solo, Jacob, and Tama versus Roman, the Usos, and somebody else.
I think it's got to be a member of the Bloodline.
Agreed. I'm not 100% sure. I'm just like, or maybe The Rock doesn't get involved in War Games. I don't know. Like, maybe it doesn't lead to War Games, but it's like, it has to lead to a Bloodline Civil War. Like,
I like the idea of War Games.
Yeah, but it's like
Bloodline versus each other.
Part of me thinks they're at least gonna do. I mean, fuck it, dude. Maybe they'll just fuck around and do. What if they do? The Usos and Solo at WrestleMania versus Jacob, Lance, or no, Jacob, Zilla, and Tonga. And then it's like The Rock versus Roman. I don't know. Like, my thing is, I'm just like, essentially, I'm just like, how are each, my thing is, I'm like, how is each member of the Bloodline making their decision on which side they're on? Like, we need like more behind that. You know what I mean? So that's why it's like I'm cool with like Lance being the fourth person on that team with the Usos and Roman, but it's like, why? You know what I mean? Why is he on that team rather than
related to Roman?
He's an Hawaii.
He's an Hawaii. Yeah. So like, well, there's that.
Yeah, but The Rock isn't on Hawaii.
Yeah, but is Lance on Hawaii more related to Roman?
You would have to think.
It's all so confusing. I don't know.
No, The Rock isn't on Hawaii. No, he's in Maivia. He's not on Hawaii. I mean, Lance is definitely more related to them.
Well, there you go.
I mean, honestly, The Rock is the least related to them out of any of them. That's really what it is. If you want to get
the picture of the Bloodline tree I think
Tonga might be a little bit more of like not in the Bloodline as well, technically. The Bloodline family tree.
Oh boy. Dude, this is going to be insane. This is going to be a good, like, probably over a year that we're getting this Bloodline story.
All right. Shout out to Too Real Unreal on Twitter for this graphic.
Shout out to you, Too Real.
All right. So we got this. We got brothers via blood oath, but let's see. Lance. I mean, Lance. All right, so Lance is down there. Where's Roman?
Man, this is all so confusing.
So they are
cousins? First cousins?
second cousins, I believe. So it looks like. So Lance's dad is Alpha Junior. No, Lance's dad is Samu. Okay. Lance's dad is Samu.
And who's Samu's dad?
Alpha.
Now we're talking. Yeah, so he's like pretty related. Like he's in there. He's in the thick of it.
Alpha is Roman's great uncle.
Okay.
So like it was his his grandmother's or his. No, it was his grandfather is Sika. That's Roman's grandfather. Sika and Alpha are brothers.
Okay.
Lance is Alpha's grandson.
So Lance and Roman are second cousins.
Yes, they're like
if I'm understanding you correctly.
Much more related than the others. Jacob, but that's the other. But Jacob and the Usos are first cousins. Like,
okay, now we're talking. This is getting
like
juicy.
Rikishi and Umaga were brothers.
Oh. All right.
And then where's Tama? Is Tama on this?
I don't know.
He might not be, because I believe his is like a similar blood oath type thing, like how the. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, dude, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Anyway. I'll stop screen. Anyway, you saw it right there. They're all related, and the one that's the least related is The Rock.
Yeah. So
maybe Jacob will join the Usos, like, as their, you know what I mean? Because he's their first cousin.
Yeah.
Or wait, let me look. So Zilla's their first cousin too, then.
I thought Zilla
isn't on this family tree.
Okay.
But he is also their first cousin.
Yeah. So let's go real quick.
Jacob's dad is Tonga Kid. Zilla's dad is Umaga. And Uso's dad is Rikishi. Believe they are all brothers.
Okay.
So I believe Zilla, Jacob, the Usos, and Solo are all first cousins.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, let's end with this quick prediction. What do you think? What pay-per-view do you think is the earliest that we sort of get some sort of like serious feud going? Saudi Arabia?
Is SummerSlam before Saudi Arabia or after?
I believe it's after.
Then SummerSlam.
Oh, no, I mean Saudi Arabia is before SummerSlam.
Then Saudi Arabia.
Okay. I'm going to agree. I think we get the 6, some sort of 3-on-3 tag match at SummerSlam.
Yeah. Doesn't it feel like it's going to be, when Roman returns, it's going to be a situation? My guess is that it's either gonna be this new form of the Bloodline beating down on the Usos, or it's gonna be like The Rock versus Cody is Bloodline rules or something. Like, I don't know, like something where ref gets knocked down or something, and then it's essentially like Cody's about to win, or I don't know. You get The Rock return during that match, and essentially The Rock is like, or you get Roman return during that match, and then The Rock is like, cousin, whatever. Like, he tells him, like, in the Roman, like, acts like he's there to, like, help Rock, and then he, like, fucking spears Rock and just, like, walks out.
Yeah, that would
And
be
it's
sick.
just like, you didn't check on me one time while I was out.
Not one.
You didn't call to ask how I was doing.
Message.
You didn't see what you could do to help.
Dude. So I think
that's not what family does.
That is not Uzi. I think we both agree this is leading to Roman versus Rock at 41. Everything that happens from now until then is going to be absolute madness. I think this is going toward the direction of some sort of Bloodline versus Samoan SWAT team situation. I think could be cool, or at least maybe that's a little chapter in the book.
I think it's more just going to be like a Bloodline Civil War type of thing.